Okay, people, I finally got it. A few of you did come in the live stream and you guys checked out because I don't blame you. It took a while for me to get up. I thought I would be better prepared this time, but for some reason, YouTube and all my software didn't exactly agree. Um, Let me go ahead and give you guys in the Facebook group a heads up that I've finally gone live. Okay. All right. So, I promised you guys an hour, so I will give you an hour. Um, Whoever comes in, great. I'll be doing these every month at least. Well, I'll be doing them once a month every month. It won't be on the exact same day because I travel all the times. So it's going to be on different um, Saturdays, but it's always going to be Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern time zone. Close out these things, close out these things. Okay. All right. So I will talk until people come in. I will talk about questions I got this week, and I'll go over those questions one by one. All right, so let's get started. The first question I had is EOD versus orientation. So your EOD date, which is entry on duty date, that is going to fall on a Sunday because Sunday is the beginning of the pay period every 2 weeks. So your EOD falls on a Sunday and then orientation starts on a Monday. So on paper, you started work on Sunday, but you have to show up physically on Monday. However, not all agencies do it this way. When I started with USCIS, my entry on duty date and orientation date were both on the same day because I'm entering on duty on the day I'm physically showing up and starting for work. So it's two different things and it's on 2 different days. So just to kind of summarize that up, EOD date is the day you start on paper. Orientation is when you physically show up to work. Next question I got is I'm waiting in the ready pool. Should I keep applying for other jobs or just hang out until I hear something? Oh no, that wasn't a question. Okay, so the question was, should I wait? Ah, should I wait until I'm in the ready pool to apply for additional airports, or can I go ahead and start and apply to additional airports until I'm in the ready pool? Go ahead and apply. Apply to as many airports as you want. Even if you aren't in the ready pool, it's okay because that whole process is going to count towards other airports. So it's definitely not a big deal. Once you get started, apply to other airports. When you're in the ready pool, you'll be in the ready pool for all of the airports you apply to, and at that point, it's just a matter of who calls you back. Another question I got is, can I pay out of pocket for security clearance? Answers no, you can't do that. In order to get a security clearance, either your agency or your employer, if you're working for a government contractor, has to request that security clearance. A security clearance is given to you if you have to have access to certain pieces of privileged information. So, for those of you that watch all those spy movies and 24 and Quantico and all that stuff, a security clearance is given on a need to know basis. If you have a need to know certain pieces of information, then a security clearance is requested for you. But you can't simply go and pay out of pocket for a security clearance, because the question is going to come up, why do you have to have this clearance? Now, here's the thing. If you already have a security clearance and you aren't using it, if it stays inactive for I think 180 days, or if you don't use your security clearance for 180 days, it becomes inactive. So for those of you that are former military and you had certain MOSs that required a security clearance, a secret, top secret, or whatever, once you leave the military, if you aren't using that security clearance, after about 6 months, it becomes inactive. And even if you do transition from the military to a civilian federal career, your security clearance can follow. The Bush administration, Bush the younger, Bush Jr., George W. Bush. Wasn't the first one, but you know who I'm talking about. His administration signed a bill into effect saying your security clearance from the military can follow you, or your security clearance from other jobs can also follow. However, once you get to your new job or you get your first government civilian job, the agency is going to do your security clearance all over again. Why do they do it? I just go with it. Okay, so another question that came up. I passed the DBT, what next? What's gonna happen is you will get an email to accept your contingent offer. Once you accept that offer, it gets the ball rolling on your credit check, your other paperwork, security clearance, interview, health checks, and all that. Now, once you pass this DBT and you accept your tentative offer, all of those other steps don't have to follow any specific order of events. Everything just happens all together at the same time. So you can have your interview one day, health checks about a week later, your security clearance process can start even before your airport assessment starts. So if things don't happen in the order that you think it's supposed to happen, don't panic. It's just how the process plays out. Once your DBT is done, everything just kind of starts in random order. Once all that is done, then you go to ready pool and you get a final job offer later on. Another question that I always get is, when I'm in the ready pool, how long until I get a final job offer? That is going to depend on the size of the airport that you apply to and the hiring need that airport has. That is the best answer I can give you. If that airport doesn't need people and you're in that ready pool, you're going to hang out in that ready pool until people start getting called up. I see there are some people already in the live stream. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat box. And if you can hear me, go ahead and type in the chat box that you can hear me. That would really help. Okay. Another. Basically, what I'm doing is going through these questions that people ask until you guys ask something. I can go ahead and do this the whole hour. It's not a problem. Okay. Another question that people have. I passed the CBT, but I can't accept the tentative offer. What do I do? It's okay. Just wait for the tentative offer email to come. It will come in an email, and then you go ahead and accept. It doesn't always have to come the day after or 2 days after. There was one person I was talking to who didn't receive their tentative offer until 10 days later. Why did that happen? It's the government. Things take time. Just go with it. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Another one. Why do the skits at the beginning instead of getting to the point? Because it's fun. I like having fun with it, but also because it illustrates a point. I don't want people to think that I had an easy ride from the TSA to where I am today. I don't want people to think that things just kind of fell in place. I'm trying to illustrate the point that I had a struggle I had to go through just to get here. And this channel is basically birthed out of that struggle and all that pain. So I've already gone through all the BS so that you don't have to. The fact that I've already gone through everything, I have a lot of the answers that you guys are trying to get. So that's why I do the skits, because I don't want you to think that things are that easy. I had a long road to get here, and I still have a long road to go. Another one is, will the investigator ask former employer for employee file? Okay, here's what happens. The investigator is going to go talk to your former employer, and they're going to ask them all kinds of questions. They can ask, do you have the employee file? Or the employer can just go ahead and pull out the employee file and hand that over. If you're worried about there being any negative information in your employee file, you can talk to your employer about it. But in reality, I wouldn't worry about it. If you aren't in trouble because you were trying to steal from the company or because you were doing something illegal, it's okay. If you're the kind of person where you're always late to work and you always have some kind of excuse, kind of like I did when I was in my early 20s, they don't care about all that. Only thing they care about is, are you going to be a liability? Or are you trying to extort, embezzle money from the company? Are you a good worker, or are you the kind of person that creates a hostile work environment? Do you bring your problems from home to work? That's what the investigator is trying to figure out. But if you're um, late all the time, if you're just kind of a slob and you don't do your work or whatever, things like that, they don't care about because you can explain a lot of that away. It's only the big stuff. They don't care about the small stuff. Another thing, doing background check before interview starts. Is that normal? Okay, so your background check hasn't started. It's the paperwork that started. Once you complete that paperwork and you send that in, your background has started technically. So if the investigator wants to take your paperwork from that point and go and start asking questions and interviewing people, yeah, they can do that because that is part of the hiring process. So if things go out of order, like I told you, don't worry about it. It's all just a part of the process. There's someone in the chat. Hey there, just watched older TSA video of yours. Thanks. Okay, cool. If there's anything that you found helpful about those videos, please tell me. And if there's anything that you want me to expand on um, from those videos, please tell me. I try to get videos out as much as I can. I have a video going up about the TSA X-ray test. It's 99% done. I just have to render the video and get it up. Okay. So just popped over to your page looking for recent videos on TSA. What have you heard? Things better. Um, yes, things have gotten a lot better since I started the TSA and since I left the TSA. The TSA does have a union that didn't start until 2013, I think. So TSA finally has collective bargaining rights. They finally have other additional rights that they didn't have. I have to go look all of that up. Ever since I left, I just kind of checked out. But yes, things have gotten a lot better. Things have gotten standardized. The training has gotten a lot better from what I hear. Now, as far as work culture and the people that you're around, some things don't change, but once again, it's just a job. Go to work, do your job, go home. If you're going to work to make friends and party with your coworkers, yeah, that could be a problem. Okay, wonder if they will get the 30% raise. I hope they do. I really hope they do. Is that bill going to pass the Senate? I don't know. They've been talking about this since 20. I want to say 2012. TSA's been fighting for a lot of the same benefits that GS employee gets, and it's sad to say that a lot of this is straight up politics. I won't go into politics because that isn't what the point of this channel is. But only thing I will tell you is pay attention to how legislators vote. Pay attention to how your state, pay attention to how your United States Congress people vote and how your United States senators vote. Based on that, you can draw your own inferences from that point. But I hope they do. I'll do a video on the legislation about TSA employees getting the Title V benefits. I'll explain what Title V benefits are and if they will get that 30% raise. However, I do support them getting that 30% raise because TSA is a difficult job. I mean, when I was there, it was super easy. I had a lot of fun, but they are going to work you. I did a lot of work when I was at TSA, and the job does get stressful. So 30% raise. I hope you guys get it. I hope you guys get transferred to the GS scale because that would help with hiring and retention. Okay, what about when interview closes? They state they will contact you. Okay, when the interview is over, they will contact you by email. What's going to happen is interview's done. You'll either be told that you passed a few hours later by email or a couple days later by email. But if you didn't pass, trust me, the TSA will be very upfront about it. And sometimes they're very quick to tell you, hey, you didn't pass the interview, everything stops here. If that answers your question, Betty, give me a heads up. But yes, they will contact you by email. They won't call you. Only time that I got a phone call is when I got the final job offer and I accepted, and then someone from HR called and took all my personal information, name, date of birth, social security, just to verify other stuff. No promises for 30%. I heard next year at the earliest, and that's if they pass the bill. Yeah, that's literally if that bill passes. I don't have any idea what's going to happen in the Senate. Your guess is as good as mine. Once again, it's politics, and if all these people want to be friends, great. However, if you only thing you can do is contact your state senators and tell them that you want it and that you support it, because you are a voter of that state. Hopefully, they pay attention to you. But you know how politics and Washington works out. AFG Union for TSA, yes, they are. It's a revolving door culture at TSA. Yes, it is. It also depends on the airport. If you're working at a very small airport that only has about 10 employees, it's not too bad. People stick around. If you're working at a large airport that has almost 2,000 employees, yeah, that revolving door culture kind of, it just goes. People will come, stick around, and take off. The average TSA employee will stick around about 2.5 years, and the average long-term employee sticks around about 5 years. Those are the stats in 2013. I'm not sure if that's changed. Those were stats given to me by management. However, for those of you that are still at TSA, if you can find out what those stats are, give me a heads up because they don't publicly publish their retention rates or how many employees they have, because a lot of that is confidential and they don't want certain things going out. It's not because they have something to hide. It's because they don't want people knowing how many people they have in their checkpoint workforce. Simply because they don't want anyone trying to compromise the security protocols. That's why personnel numbers are pretty closely guarded, and I don't ask them either because I just don't care. I don't care because I don't work there, so I'm not trying to sound empathetic, but a lot of it is they just don't want certain information getting out because it's a security issue. Okay. Okay. Regarding X-ray, did they ever come up with safety testing. They said over 10 years ago they were going to do it. Did they? I don't have that answer. When I did work at TSA, they did test the x-rays for radiation leakage. I think once a year. There was a tech that came in, opened up the x-ray, they checked all the seals, they made sure all the lead lining was in place. If it was, great, they signed off on it and kept going. Now, has anyone gotten sick? I don't have any idea. When I worked there, if I got tired of standing, I would lean on the x-ray. So, I mean, if in a few years, if I get sick, I'll give you a heads up. But, honestly, I don't have any idea. They are changing out their x-rays, and I can tell you that because I passed through Atlanta Airport, I think 2021. Yeah, in 2021, I was passing through the airport. And even recently, I've been through JFK, I've been through Chicago. But by the way, if you guys see me in the airport, say hi. I'll stop and talk to anybody. I've been through Jersey, and they are checking out those x-rays. It's kind of, the new x-rays look like MRIs, and it's kind of like something off of a spaceship. Those probably are safer. I don't have any idea. The type of x-ray that TSA uses, they don't publish that either. Once again, because of security protocols, they don't want people being able to circumvent security. Any monitoring done of radiation protective gear from radiation from x-ray machine. From what I currently understand and what I have seen, once again, I didn't ask them because TSA because of security, they don't talk about certain things. I don't see people wearing any protective equipment around the x-rays. I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't seen any whistleblower reports. I don't go looking for whistleblower reports. I just wait till something pops up on CNN or NPR or whatever, and until someone talks about it. But once again, things don't become a problem until someone says something. So what you can do is, if you're passing through the airport, find a TSA officer with one stripe on their shoulder and just ask them, and they'll tell you. Or you can just ask a supervisor. You'll probably get a very polished political answer, but yeah, I don't have a better answer than that. That's pretty much all I got there. Your signal isn't strong. It's not the signal, it's that I stutter, so that's why it's kind of cutting in and out. But here, I did test the internet. I also reset it, so we're okay there. If you want me to repeat anything, just go and tell me. I'll be happy to do it. No problem at all. When are you scheduled for airport assessment, and when you're scheduled for give me a second. When you are scheduled for airport assessment, you get an email saying interview is closed, and you'll be contacted when interview spots open up. Yes, that can happen. If the airport is, or if the hiring airport is backed up and they have more interviews scheduled than people to actually do the interviews, they can kind of put a stop on the interviews, finish all the people that they have, get them through the pipeline, and then start it back up again. But it's okay. Don't panic. It's just a procedural administrative thing. It's nothing related to you or about your candidacy or any of that stuff. And By the way, if you guys are getting value from this video, please give me a thumbs up. Helps out the channel, and it helps push out the channel videos to other people that can also benefit from this. Also, if you do find the channel helpful and you find the advice I give you helpful, please tell other people about it who are trying to find a job in the government or the TSA. I don't do just TSA. I have helped people get jobs at the VA. Apparently, I have co-workers who found my channel and they saw some of my videos, used my advice, and they've gotten jobs, promotions, all kinds of things. So, yay. Great job, guys. Happy for people that's helping. Hi, Basil. After onboarding training, how long before you go to Glencoe? Okay. Glencoe is, let's see, that's where you go to the training center and you get your TSA training. Then I think you go back to your airport for your actual on-the-job training. So how long until you go? That is going to depend on FLETC availability. If they have enough space to bring on a lot of people, then they'll do it. But it just depends on how many instructors they have, how much bed space they have to accommodate people in their dorms, and how many people they have waiting to go to training. So it can either be a week, 2 weeks, or it could be a bit longer than that. But what I think TSA is trying to do is get people to FLETC as soon as possible and then get them back to the checkpoint, because at the current time they are still bleeding for people. So as far as how long your training will take, I'm not sure. It just depends on whatever their schedule is, but don't worry about it. As long as you're getting paid, hey, it's a great day, right? If the checks keep cashing, everyone's happy. What else is there? April 2023 is what White House wanted. July 2023 is what Senate wants, according to Pikowski, or 30% raise, and he says no promises. Yeah, that sounds like the government. They don't make any promises. They'll tell you, we have this, this, and this on the table. But, if we do it, we do it. If we don't, we don't. If all you're trying to do is get your foot in the door and just get a job, don't let that sway your decision in either way, because once again, things do always change at TSA. So if it doesn't get, if the legislation doesn't pass in the next year and a half, it's going to pass at some point. However, if all you need is a job and experience to take that and then transition to something else, go ahead and take the job. That's what I did. I heard plenty of horror stories before starting at TSA. I read all the stuff on the forums about how bad things are, how bad you get treated. I read all kinds of things. I didn't care. I was 23 at the time, and I was willing to take whatever was on the table. It was a bad economy. I didn't care. So once again, go to work, do your job, go home. Just get what you need to get and then transition to a different job. I don't want to say better job, because for a lot of people, even me at the time, TSA was like the holy grail. And then as I started learning more and more, I started finding other job opportunities. Okay, I read a couple of years ago about TSOs getting cancer. I never paid attention until now. I don't know. Once I left, I didn't keep up with it. However, you can't just say that TSOs got cancer because of being on the job. Because cancer takes time to develop. It doesn't just happen overnight or over a course of a short period of time. Uh, some people were predisposed to cancer. Some people probably have really bad eating habits and they eat all kinds of stuff that's processed, fast foods, or whatever. That can also play a role. Some people like to hang out in the sun all day. That can play a role. Working at TSA was probably the cherry on top. I don't know. So until there's research done on this from a third party source, or until the CDC comes out and says, "Hey, it's because of this," I don't know. It could be anything. Government doesn't tell us the truth about many things that affect our health. I don't know. Once again, I don't know. You just have to do your own. You just have to do your own research about things, and just see what's out there. Talk to your doctors, see what they tell you. Always go by medical advice. But once again, I can't comment on things that I don't have concrete facts on. Okay, great info. Thanks for doing these videos. No problem. Happy to help. The bill heading to the Senate would also give TSA workers Title V, putting them on the Fed pay chart scale, which would be good. Yes, that would be a very good thing, and I hope it happens soon. Even though I don't work at the TSA, I still care about the people at the TSA because they are federal employees and they are people, and I strongly support them getting equal treatment. I don't see why it's uneven or why the pay scale started out the way it did and why it's such a big deal to change it. And I don't know. But I hope things get better. Thank you for your response. I'm interested in TSA. I think you're trying to say careers, but it's all good. Does all airports have TSA Cares? Does all airports have this department? I don't have any idea. It's the first time I'm hearing about it. I will go and do research on it. In fact, let me go ahead and make a note of that, and then I'll find out. Once I find out, I will do a video on it and give you a heads up. I'll look up TSA Cares. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, not that. Okay. All right. Some cancers take time. Some almost fast, as are some others. Yet in general, what you're saying is also true. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a healthcare background. I just have friends who are MDs, and trust me, I ask them plenty of questions, and sometimes even they're like, "Fossil, great question. We don't know either." So we're just kind of. I mean, I'm sure at some point something's going to come out about it. If it does, everyone's going to want to see it, and but yeah. Do full-time TSOs get back-to-back days off? Yes, they do. The way the scheduling works out is it's based on airline flight schedules. The airline tells the airport, "Here's our flight schedule." Airport management goes to TSA, tells them, "Here's a flight schedule. You staff according to this." And then TSA comes up with schedules. And then they'll have different days off, either back to back or they'll split the days off. The schedule that you get depends on your seniorities. So if you have the highest seniority, you will get the pick of whatever you want. There's people at TSA that work Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, Sunday off. They've been there since about 2003, 2004. They have very high seniority. However, if you just get hired, you get whatever's available. If you get back-to-back days off, outstanding. If you get days off that are two separate, that are split up, it's okay. There's a schedule bid every single year where you bid for schedules based on seniority, and then you can pick what you want based on what they have. Airports have different checkpoints. I know at Atlanta, there's the main checkpoint, north, south, international arrivals, international departures. So that's 5. Hey, I can count. Okay, so all 5 of those checkpoints will have different schedules available. And then people at Atlanta Airport will just pick from those schedules. That's basically the whole answer to that question. Cares. So okay. TSA Cares assist and make arrangements for disabled and elderly flyers. Okay, cool. I learned something new today. Okay, so I'm gonna find out. I still have a few friends at TSA. I'm just gonna send them a quick text and I'll ask them if it's like an actual department or if it's a collateral duty. Collateral duty meaning you are hired and paid as a TSO. Your job is a blue shirt checkpoint employee, and you're checking bags, doing pat downs, and all that stuff. And then there's a solicitation of who wants to work in this specialized area that we have. And then people apply. I think you write an essay, and then your employee evals are taken into consideration, and then you either get chosen or you don't. So if it's a collateral duty, then you're a blue shirt checkpoint employee, and then when a spot opens up, they just ask people who wants to do it. You sign up, application process, people get chosen. But if it's an actual job, meaning in order to do it, there's a whole job posting process, interview process, background check process. That is something completely different. But because I haven't seen that pop up on USA Jobs, and for a lot of you, I check USA Jobs all the time just to see what's available. I think it's a collateral duty. So if there's spots available, you can apply, and it's a very informal process. I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, please tell me. Okay. Investigator emailed about E86. The only thing that needed correction was my landlord's last name. Does that mean they look at the rest of E86 for errors? If the investigator has it, then chances are it's probably error-free. Error-free meaning it has all your jobs on there, all the timelines are correct, and all the proper boxes are checked, and they have all the proper information. If a name is misspelled or whatever, the person checking for errors, they don't care about that. It's the investigator who cares about that. So if the investigator has your file, don't worry about having any other errors because it's already been inspected. And investigators best you just take that and go through all the paperwork. So that whole 21-day clock for your E86, it's gone. It's over. You submitted it 100% error free. I hope that answers what you're asking. Okay. Again, thank you. Yes, you answered my question. Outstanding. That's what I'm hoping to do. All right. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm trying to block out the backlighting. I do work from my table, but I don't like doing that because I don't like having an office setting. I just work better on the couch. I'm happier on the couch. Um, okay, I don't have any other questions in the chats, so I'm going to go into the other questions I get asked all the time. Okay, I was in the military and I don't have any contact with my former commanders. Okay, if you don't have any contact with your former commanders, it's okay. Welcome to being former military. You just put down the most recent information you have, and then the investigator goes and they figure all that out. That's their job. Let them investigate. If they have questions, they'll come ask you. I don't have contact with my former neighbors. So you're talking about verifying your home address. They don't have to talk to your neighbors. They just have to talk to someone who can verify that you lived in that apartment or that house. So it can be a friend, a family member. It could be the pool boy, the gardener, anyone that can vouch saying this person lived here. I don't have contact with people from. I don't have contact with former university classmates. That's okay. You can put down anyone that saw you going to class. That could be a friend who dropped you off to class and saw you go in. Um, you can also put the registrar's information down because they will have proof that you've actually been to class because they'll have your whole transcript. Okay. What is the whole point to the security clearance process? It's to verify that you are who you say you are and you don't have any contacts with any shady people. They have to put together a picture of your entire life and background. They have to verify that you didn't just fall off the face of the earth or that you didn't go and join some criminal syndicate or whatever. Um, there have been people who were homeless and then somehow got back on their feet and got jobs with the government. Those people probably went to a homeless shelter, checked in, signed in. They'll put them down on the paperwork saying, hey, I checked in at this homeless shelter. These are people that can verify I didn't have a home. So your life has to be accounted for. If you have any gaps that you just can't explain, that's going to be a problem. So, yeah, that's the whole problem. That's the whole point of the security clearance process is to verify you, your background, and the people that you hang out with, and all your homies. Okay, in transportation for Glen, is transportation, but, hang on. Is transportation for Glencoe paid by TSA? Yes, it's paid for by Homeland Security. If you are doing anything at the request of the federal government and it requires funding that then the government pays for all of it. For example, I have to travel for work. I am always on planes, I'm always in hotels. If I had to pay for my own transportation and my own hotel fees, guess what? I would have quit my job a long time ago. The government covers all of that. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions? Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, as long as the checks keep cashing, people keep going to work. The day that stops, that's when people stop going to work. Okay, no more questions for now. Cool. Okay. There are other people in this chat. Does anyone else have any questions I can go over, or anything that you want me to address? Any rumors that you've heard? Okay. So I don't have any other uh, frequent. I don't have any other frequently asked questions that I've gotten this week. Let me just check my app and make sure that no one else has asked it. Okay. Okay. All right. Here's a common question. Oh, thank you for subscribing, and give the video a thumbs up. Any other video that you watched, give those a thumbs up too. And please also put something in the comments of the videos. I know quite a few of you have gotten hired. If you have gotten hired, tell me which airport you've been hired at, and um, please put your application timeline in the comments because it helps other people too. Okay, I got a question. I'm still stuck on section 13 alpha. I put all 7 jobs and it keeps giving me an error. Okay, on the SF-86, as you're completing your residences and your jobs on the system, what people tend to do and what I did is I put all the information in, but I didn't put it in order. I just kind of put it in sporadically as I thought of the different jobs I've held. And I've held quite a few different jobs, and it just got annoying to put all that in. And the system came, and the person that went through the paperwork back then it was all done by hand. It wasn't automated. Well, that tells you how long I've been in the government. I had quite a few gaps that I had to go and cover, and it just kept getting kicked back each time. Today, it's all electronic, and the computer tells you right then and there what gaps you have. So, as you are putting in your information, start with the most recent one, your most recent job, your most recent residence, whatever. And then work your way backwards, accounting for all periods of unemployment or whatever. Don't skip around, because if you skip around, it's going to kick back and give you errors. So work backwards, go in order, and it'll take care of all those errors. Why does the system do that? It's a very flaky system, and until that gets resolved, you just have to play the game. And the only reason why I found that out is because I was on a video chat with a subscriber, and I was walking them through the process, and it was just trial and error. I told him, hey, delete everything you just put and let's start all over again. Start with the recent one, work your way backwards, and that solved the problem. So once again, I'm still figuring things out along with you guys. Okay. Does anyone else have any other? Uh, ah, does anyone else have any other questions they want to ask? Is anyone about to take the CBT or thinking about thinking about applying? Okay, if anyone has any interviews coming up and you want help with interviews, if you want questions for what you could be asked, I came up with an entire interview guide as to how to interview, the type of questions you'll be asked, how to answer those questions, and then I also put an entire, I think, 5 pages of questions I was asked in all my interviews. I can't give you the exact questions, but I can get you pretty close to what you're going to be asked. Um, I um, I also came up with I also came up with questions for other jobs I've applied for. Even though I didn't get an interview, I still have questions lined up and ready to go. I do have questions from different agencies, and that's because people will do interviews and then they'll come back and tell me, "Here's what I was asked. Have at it." Um, when you go into your interview, if you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, meaning it's an agreement saying you can't talk about what goes on during this interview, respect that NDA. Don't violate it. I signed quite a few NDAs in the past, and if I'm told don't talk about something, I don't talk about it. However, the NDA I signed at TSA only applied when I was in the TSA hiring pipeline and when I was working at TSA. As soon as I left TSA, all bets were off. Only things I can't talk about are TSA security processes and procedures. Other than that, I can talk about whatever. And for other agencies I've applied to and have interviewed for, if I didn't sign an NDA, I can tell you what those interview questions were. Okay, pay attention. The 86 has sub-menus in that employment verification section and relative section. Yes, it does. Pay attention to your SF-86. The first time I did one is when I joined the Army, and I didn't do it. My recruiter completed all that paperwork, and my SF-86 interview in the Army was literally, I kid you not, 2 minutes. I walked in, I got asked 2 questions, he signed off on a clearance, and I was gone. And I was like, wow, that's it. And I go to TSA, and it's a very long, cumbersome application, and the whole thing was reviewed by hand. When I did the reinvestigation 2018, it was all online, and it was so much easier, and it was a lot more user friendly. I will do a video on completing the SF-86. I can't get into the SF-86 system because I don't have anyone requesting a security clearance on my behalf. But I can go through the PDF application and I can explain each part to you guys. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions? Does anyone else have anything that they want to talk about? Okay, so I think I'm coming up on the hour. That's pretty much all I've got. Anyone have anything else? Going once, going twice. All right, I'm gonna go to the gym, get some puppy chow, and I'm gonna have a great day. You guys enjoy your Saturday. Have a great Sunday, and let's all go get paid on Monday like the good Lord intended. Until then, peace, love, and fast.